So the truth is, with today's podcast guest, Nicole Ice, she is a really good dear friend of mine. I love her to death. We have a terrible habit of digressing, and we 100% have squirrel syndrome, but please stay with it, listen in, hear her journey and all the things that she has accomplished as the serial entrepreneur. I mean, this woman has started businesses, whether out of her passion or an agitation. She has exited businesses. She understands the marketing strategies, everything when it comes to creation of all the things from pet food to actually movie productions. So tune in, listen in on a phenomenal story from a phenomenal woman who I love absolutely dearly. Welcome to The Seed, cultivating growth and empowering women in business, brought to you by Dandelion-Inc. I'm your host, Lisa Resnick, and this podcast is all about connecting, developing, and supporting women in business. Join me as we explore tips and insights on leadership, business development, and social media strategies that can help you thrive. We'll also hear from amazing guests who share their stories and experiences, offering inspiration and practical advice for your entrepreneurial journey. So tune in, download, like, and subscribe. And remember, if you love what you hear, share it with others. Together, let's cultivate growth and empower women in business. Hey everyone, I am sitting here with the one and only Nicole Ice. If anybody has listened to the Homes and Hops podcast before we transitioned over to The Seed, you already know what you're about to get yourself into. So Nicole is a dear friend of mine that I believe I remember how we met over her remembering how you don't even have any recollection.
Zero.
Of it. So
Zero. You were like just manifested.
No,
I don't know. I can't remember.
We specifically met at Birdfish. So Birdfish is one of the first breweries that we've had in this area.
Right. Yeah.
And absolutely phenomenal. And they first started off in a smaller space other than where they currently are. And Nicole, at that point in time, had a store right next to him. And I was meeting with one of the owners of Birdfish because we were doing one of our vlogs, if you will. That's your video blog that we posted on social media. Super cool. Still super cool. I just don't do them anymore. But she came in with a stack of newspapers, a stack of magazines, newspapers, I don't know.
I did?
Yes. And you were going off about something or someone, maybe the building owner. And
that's totally possible.
And that's how I met you.
Yeah. You met me being a bitch. Like, who knew? Like, who knew that I was going to be, like, bitching about something? It had to have been Birdfish. Like, since we had this conversation, like, a month ago, I was like, it had to have been Birdfish. Because I can't think of where else it would possibly be. But I have thought about it since we discussed it. And I've just, like, resorted to, like, It was Birdfish.
I promise this to everyone out there. It wasn't like this traumatic experience that she has blocked out of her mind.
The trauma, the spicy memories.
Yes. So now Nicole is with not Homes and Hops on our podcast. She is now on The Seed.
The Seed.
To talk about how she is a serial entrepreneur. So this is going to be a deep dive. If anybody out there really wants to know the desire, the want, she is the human being that I don't know if it's completely possible ever to burn her out, because she's that one that will, like, when she talks about a pause.
You are just so nice.
A pause. So nice. But it's true. You have this, you're like, yeah, I had nothing to do. So I decided to, like, create this whole other business so I could, and now I'm selling on Etsy.
It's literally because my ADHD is just so bad. Like, that's really what it is.
Well, you've learned to make it work in your favor.
It's trauma.
So let's talk about your first business that you've ever started.
Oh, man. I mean, legal business, like that was actually a business.
I mean, it depends. Have we hit the marker that no one can come after you now, or
yeah, the statute of limitations is definitely cleared out. No, I would really say it would be the pet store in Columbiana, the all natural pet bakery, and I opened it mostly because I just couldn't get my dog's food when I moved to Columbiana. And I'm in the pet industry still. This is my 20th, like almost 20th year.
She has a full-time gig on top of everything else. But the problem is you can't call these other businesses side gigs. You really can't.
I think they're side gigs. Well, so.
Not based upon time.
That is true. That is true. So I couldn't get my dog's dog food. And I knew that I had been involved in pet nutrition and pet enrichment for so many years that I could open up a pet store. So I did. And then we opened up a bakery and sold dog birthday cakes and cannolis and cupcakes and stuff like that.
So there is a bit of a difference with working for a pet corporation. We'll just call them a corp. Mm-hmm. Versus opening up your own business. Like while you knew your market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You knew the product development side.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say the learning curve aspect of it from shifting from corp mode to LLC small business mode?
So I will say that, and it may not be specific to just the state of Ohio, but I find it incredibly hard for a person that's never owned an LLC or started a business to understand all of the things that you need to be doing for a business in the state of Ohio. It's kind of like they set you up for failure.
Ooh, ouch.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I just, if I was ever to have like another like gig, I would seriously be sitting down with like every single business owner and saying, this is what you needed to, this is the tax place you have to sign up for, and then you have to do this quarterly or monthly, and you have to do this and you have to do this, and you have to make sure that you have workers' comp if you have any employees. And some of it is common sense, but there's people that are opening up businesses that don't know any of that.
So I agree completely with you. I mean that's part of Dandelion-Inc, not the insurance side, not the tax side, not the legal side, which, by the way, are three
they're huge
significant parts of your business.
Like you could go to jail.
So, yeah, so you do, and which Dandelion-Inc does have those, but
jails.
But no, some may say, but how I have those for my business, just because I know I should have those for my business.
Right.
That's not something we connect you with other people who can do that, but we don't focus in on those things to help other people grow. We focus on the business, the sexy stuff, the business development side, the marketing side.
That's like the fun part. That's the reason why you get into business.
I know, it is so
doing
fun.
Those sexy parts.
100%.
The unsexy part is the legal part of it. It sucks. It sucks.
I do think this was interesting too. I think it's very easy to start your own LLC.
Oh, incredibly.
In this state.
It's too easy.
But they do say you should get an attorney, which, and to each their own on that. There are definitely benefits to it. And if you go into partnerships, the complexities and everything go way beyond just a solopreneur, that please seek attorney advice.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
But usually everyone around here is a stone throw away of knowing and having a friend in the legal world.
Right.
So reach out to somebody who can help you out with that. With that also being said, I do know that the state has resources available for people who are starting a business.
But you have to dig and ask.
You do. You do.
Like when you sign up for an LLC, like you have to give them all of your information, your blood type, all that shit.
Yes.
They should be sending you a welcome packet like, hey, you're opening up a business in Ohio. Dope. Here's how we're going to help you be successful.
That's it. It would be nice, especially since you're paying for that little piece of paper.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, like, here's resources for the sexy stuff.
Yeah.
Dandelion-Inc. can help you with this. Like, there's so many things that they could be doing to help it. And, like, I know a lot of, like, and I'm not being, like, sexist here, but there's a lot of women that now are like, oh, I can have my own business. I have a Cricut.
Yeah.
God bless them. Good for them. But they're starting LLCs and not understanding, like, oh, I have to pay sales tax.
Yes.
Like, oh. So, like, I feel that there's just not enough information out there. And there are more and more and more LLCs now, like with women staying at home with the kids and all of these opportunities to make stuff in your own home.
And you also do have to watch out when you hear those statistics and the numbers that you hear, that how many people have opened up an LLC and how many people are actually working in that LLC.
Yes.
Technically, you can go in there and grab names to make sure that you're covered, just in case that you are going to decide to implement a business idea and start scaling.
Right.
Just to hold on to the name.
Yeah. And websites.
Yes.
Ooh, I own so many domains.
How many domains?
I think I'm up to like 182.
Are you going to make this a side gig?
What, domains?
Selling the domains?
Oh man, I wish. So like the one that I actually just finally canceled because I'm like, fuck it, I'm not doing anything with it. It was Nips and Snips. And it was topless haircuts for men, Nips and Snips.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I was drinking with someone. I was drinking bourbon, and they were like, "Man, I went to get a haircut today, and the girl's boobs were in my face." It was at like Sports Clips. I was like, "Oh my god, what a genius idea!" And so I bought Nips and Snips that night.
So have you tried to sell any of your websites?
I mean, it says that they're for sale when you try and buy them, and that it'll come to me. Like, I've had some people reach out to me, and they're like, hey, I'll give you $72. And I was like, I'd rather keep it.
Yeah, for 72?
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people that do that as a side hustle, and it's brilliant. I'm just not fast enough. Like, I once thought that I was fast enough with Kafifi, or whatever that was that Donald Trump said. Kafifi, but I
have no idea what.
I was in a taxi on my way to LAX when he came out and said that weird word, and I was like trying to buy it, and by the time I like finally was able to like get through, someone had already bought it.
Have you ever followed up with it?
No.
Yeah.
It went to like a t-shirt imprint store.
Oh well, they're probably doing pretty well.
I know.
Let's hope they are. Let's hope they are.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you opened up.
Yeah, we digress.
Yes. So you opened up your pet store.
Yes.
The state of Ohio failed you when it came to the logistics of opening up your business. However,
yes,
the fun stuff you got.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. Like, my background is marketing and sales.
What year was this, real quick?
It was 2016, 2015.
I think that's super important to note because really, like,
things could have changed.
Yeah, where we were social media wise.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So like knowing that is really important.
Yeah.
Okay. Now everybody, put your minds in 2016. Pet store opens. Go.
Yeah, 2016 pet store opens. So I opened up a small location on East Park Avenue. Mm-hmm. And when we opened up the bakery part, which was like 6 months after we opened, I didn't realize how successful that would be. And like, I had a convection oven, like I was making like them there, and it was really fun. And then I'll never forget, it was when Firestone Farms Town Center was being built, and Tom Makel and a couple other people came into the store because they were like, hey, we're looking for people that might want to be in Firestone Farms. And someone said that you had like a fun business idea. And Tom Makel looked at me, and I was literally like, just like got done decorating a dog birthday cake. And he's like, what is that? Is that for humans? I was like, no, it's a dog birthday cake. And he's like, who buys a dog a birthday cake? And while he was sitting there, I got 3 orders, like people walking in ordering dog birthday cakes. And he just shook his head and he's like, I'm amazed. Do you want to move into Firestone Farms?
Okay.
I couldn't afford Firestone Farms at that time because
it's a new development.
Yeah. And they weren't even done building. And it was it was just not the right time for me to be at Firestone Farms. So a spot became available on South Main Street in downtown Columbiana, and it was perfect. Like it was perfect. So we moved into that and expanded by like 1,000 square feet. And that's when it really, really, really got going. And we were on Main Street and people were walking their dogs in.
Yep.
And it like location. That will never die.
No, it will never die.
Yeah.
That's one of those evergreen, everlasting.
For sure.
100%.
For sure. Like herpes. So it was like really cool to be down there. And my real job, my adult job, my company was bought in 2017. And I had to fly out to San Francisco to like keep my job. Mm-hmm. And I got back and I was like, man, I don't think I'm going to be able to do both. Like it's going to be noticeably different, like me being gone even more because I travel all the time anyway. So I was like, who do I know that would buy this? And I called Danny Edgerton that owns the dog daycare in Columbiana.
Okay. In
the like industrial park. And she already manufactures like her own raw food, her own treats, like really cool stuff. And like we had a really good relationship. We're both into dog stuff. And I called her and I said, hey, would you be interested in buying my store? And she said, hell no. And then hung up. And I was like, I'm screwed. Like,
yeah,
I want to sell this to someone like so they can like carry it on. I don't just want to shut down.
Yeah.
So, like,
by the way, were you the only one working the store?
No, I had employees.
Okay.
They were wonderful.
Okay.
They were wonderful. They had my back all the time. So then 20 minutes later, if it was even that long, she called back and she's like, I changed my mind. I'm on my way. So within 2 minutes of that phone call, her and her family were there. We made a deal like the next day.
Did she ever tell you who she talked to in between before she called you back?
Herself.
Okay.
It was herself. Yeah, it was herself. They came in, they were like, yeah, let's do it. And we had it done within 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
So then I had a little bit of spare change.
So wait, real quick. Did you make sure you had an attorney?
Yes,
at this point?
I had an attorney.
Yes.
Of course I had an attorney.
There
Yes.
you go.
Mandy Banner.
Yeah. Anybody who is implementing their exit strategy for their business,
Attorney.
make sure you have an attorney.
Yes, absolutely. So that was great. And then I didn't do anything for a couple months and I got really bored. I was like, I don't have anything else that I am doing. Like, I'm just doing my regular job and I'm driving myself insane.
Clearly not enough.
No.
So with that being said, so something else that Nicole does is she's a comedian.
Oh.
On top of that. So usually, typically there at the beginning of the C, we do like the formal introductory. But with you, I'm like, let's throw these curveballs at people as we go. But so when did you start
doing comedy?
Yes.
Oh, that was
comedian.
So, I mean, I think I've always been quite entertaining, but I didn't start actually doing stand-up until COVID. That's when I really started doing it.
You're like, hey, I know we're not supposed to be in public places anymore, so please plop me down.
Yeah. Wear a mask so I can't see your faces. Yeah, that's when I started doing stand-up.
Okay.
And that was a Birdfish thing, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did it for the dog park.
Oh,
it was to raise money for the dog park, and Josh Dunn, that owns Birdfish, was like, hey, you're kind of funny. Do you want to do an amateur stand-up comedian thing? And I was like, fuck no, man. I'm not. That's not my jam. I was like, I don't want to stand in front of people and do that. I can speak in front of 1 billion people.
Yes, you can.
That is not a thing. I just didn't know if I had the anxiety bandwidth to actually like memorize like an entire set, because stand-up comedians, they do the same set everywhere they go for a year. Like, if you saw Brett Kreischer last week in Dallas, he's doing the same shit in Detroit.
Yes.
So.
Until they get to the point where they feel it can be filmed.
Yes. So I just didn't think that I could memorize an entire, 10-minute set. So I didn't. I just talk the entire time and talk about my family, and no one's sacred. So
yeah,
like everyone's touched. My poor kids. Everyone knows about their masturbation habits at this point. My husband's vasectomy. So anyway.
So that was actually after your other next venture.
It was after my other next venture. Yes. Yeah. So I had some money that I had made from the pet store. And instead of like investing it into stocks or Bitcoin, my friend Justina Channel, whose brother is one of the brother and cousins own Birdfish.
Yep.
We were like, what? Let's open up a winery. Like, let's drink for free. Like, we didn't want to make money. Like, we just wanted somewhere that we could go and chill and like drink for free. Like, so cheap. And the spot next to Birdfish on North Main Street opened up, or South Main Street opened up. And it was like the most serendipitous timing. We're like, we have the money, like, let's go. So we started Sundog.
Yep.
And
where we met.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I stomped over, pissed off. Totally not. Like, it's. I know that that's true because it's like not out of the realm of possibilities in any way, shape, or form. So, so we started Sundog, and it was wonderful. Like, her dad and stepmother, John and Marianne Channel, came on, and we couldn't have done it without them. And it was great. Like, it was awesome.
It was fun.
Yeah, like. To anyone that doesn't know, we just sold it.
Yeah, so Sundog scaled pretty quickly during COVID.
Seriously quickly, like real quick.
I think a lot of businesses, if they had the ability to be creative,
to adapt,
and a problem solver, which really, to everyone out there throughout life, my biggest suggestion is to you is to be able to be a critical thinker and a problem solver. Be MacGyver.
Yeah.
Be MacGyver.
Yeah, definitely.
And you all were able to be MacGyver.
Yeah.
And you really soared because of it.
Yeah, it was great. You know, it also, I feel like, you know, when I talk about like anything that I've owned, I think it's really important to point out that I am a graphic designer. Yeah. I have a marketing background. So the things that a lot of people have to pay for, like we do in-house.
Yeah.
So like if we had to be paying someone to do all the things, like we could pivot immediately because I could change the marketing immediately. Mm-hmm. So I
it
think,
is beneficial.
I think like if I was going to have, if I didn't have that background and someone came to me and they were like, hey, I'm going to open this business, like I would tell them, find a marketing person that has a side business and just try and make sure that like you guys have a similar vision of what your marketing could be.
Okay.
So that, I mean, I think marketing is what makes or breaks you.
I agree. And you have to be authentic with it.
For sure.
And keep to your brand, keep to who you are, because otherwise you're basically the person who's projecting that you're vegan out there until somebody sees you eating a steak.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So don't be that person.
For sure, for sure. But, you know, we started off on South Main Street, and Tom Makel got me because we ended up in Firestone Farms.
It's true.
But we couldn't say no. Like, no. It's a great place. So we moved out to Firestone Farms, and then, like, COVID just hit. Mm-hmm. Like, just hit, and we had to shut down for a couple weeks, and we weren't allowed to do anything. What's that?
Rent was still higher.
Rent was still higher, yeah. And when the state said that we could at least do takeout, like that changed our entire lives. And the bummer part of it is our employees, and thank God, like they all have real jobs also. Like this was their side hustle, you know. So all of our employees, we would be able to like split up the time. Like one person would come in and help my brother and I, and one person would come in the next day and help Marianne and John. And it worked seamlessly. And we did so well. And that's the other thing that I will say. Pets, infants, and alcohol are recession proof.
Oh, I know. Makeup, thanks to the pandemic, has proven not to be recession proof.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because people weren't putting on makeup anymore. They were in the pandemic. They weren't able to go outside. What was the point?
Oh shit, that's right. I didn't even think about that. I didn't dye my hair. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what did like go up in my house is fucking ball caps. Like I could not get enough like hats to cover up my gray ass hair. Like I felt like my mother. It was awful. No, not that my mom doesn't have gray hair right now, but yeah, it was
but it's
crazy.
True. Like what they learned was that what they believe beauty products for women recession proof.
Yeah.
They're not, they might be recession proof, but they're not pandemic proof.
Certainly not. Certainly not. You're right. You're right.
But alcohol on the other hand?
Yeah. Alcohol and pets. Like, so I was sitting great because I work for a pet company.
Yep.
And I owned an alcohol company. So I feel like I was at times busier during the pandemic than I was prior. Like, it was crazy.
I think we're still suffering from that.
Oh my God, totally. Like, absolutely. My personal habits have changed even like since that. So like my buying habits.
Yep.
And I think that that's like another big thing with the pandemic with people like, and I'm not a Friends person. Like I didn't watch the show Friends. And anytime I say pivot, I think of that stupid scene with them moving the couch. Yeah.
Pivot.
So I always feel like every time I say pivot, people are like, oh, she likes Friends. I don't. I don't watch Friends, but
I like Friends.
But like, I think that is one of the most important words post-pandemic is pivot. Like you have to have a plan on how to pivot. If it happens again, like there's so many things that could happen. You could get shut down. Like anything can happen. So just having a plan B and C is never a bad thing.
No, absolutely not.
And somehow we were able to change and adapt as quickly as we were able to. And we grew so much during the pandemic that we were able to move into the larger area that Sundog is now at currently. Because of how well we did during the pandemic. And thank you all for buying hard cider and wine during the pandemic because it wouldn't have happened. Like,
well, everybody also thanks you for helping to supply that to keep sanity for those that were stuck in a house for how long.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh my God.
And all the drama that ensued of back and forth. I don't care what side you're on. I mean, messaging was confusing as hell. So,
yeah. That's true.
With that being said, I say that way too much, but you
pivot.
So I know pivot. So you're in the larger location over in Firestone Farms in Columbiana.
Yeah.
So for all of those who are listening out there that are not from the Tri-County area, Columbiana is a super cute town, and this is where Nicole has done a lot of her business and started up her companies. Entry level is great. And it was actually noted in what was it noted as the cutest town or best city?
Oh, it's the nicest city in America. It was Reader's Digest 2019. Yes. But that was because of the Main Street Theater Special Needs Program.
And which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and if you talk to anyone from Columbiana or read Columbiana Talk, you will see that they are not the nicest town in America because people become assholes on that shit, especially about the roundabout.
People could be assholes on social media, period.
Yeah, that's true.
Period.
Yeah.
So you're over in the larger location. Things are going well. Mm-hmm. You're ramping up again, dealing with so much crap when it comes to your full-time job in the pet industry. So I have to ask you, did you plan out? So one of the things that everybody asks everyone to do is have an exit plan. When you're creating your business plan, also create your exit plan.
No.
You just know.
No.
You just know.
You just know.
Yeah.
I think if you have an exit plan, I think it changes your whole mindset of like how to excel at your business. Like I go into business thinking I'm like,
never.
Who knows when it's going to happen? If it ever does happen, like I don't want an exit strategy. Like I feel like when I'm ready, I'm ready.
Yep.
And that's what has happened with my companies. Like we're ready. Let's go.
I think when you get to a certain level.
Yeah.
Like if I was pulling in $100 million on an annual basis, and I was looking to scale even further and knew my limitations to be able to do it, and say, hey, we've hit that marker. I'm going to give it up. I'm passing the buck to the next one to take it up to 200 million.
Exactly.
Then we're at that point.
Exactly.
But with like 1,000 to 2,000 employees, whatever it may be, I just think that a lot of smaller businesses out there, I think the exit strategy, the exit plan really just comes in the insight of knowing what external factors are happening around your life at that particular point in time.
Absolutely.
Of like, do I continue this on, or do I need to let this go? Should I let this go now at this point when it's doing so well?
Right.
Or do I risk my baby being hurt because I'm not able to give it the attention that it needs due to the external factors?
Right. And I have friends that I've watched like that happen to, where they're just like, well, I guess we're just done, because they can't move on to the next step, and they can't find someone that will take it to the next step.
Yep.
So I think like it's a certain mindset of when you're doing this, like, I'm close. Like that's when you start your exit strategy.
Yep.
And you allow yourself enough time too. Like you have to be prepared that it's going to take 2 years or more or less. Like you have to be realistic about it and what you're trying to do, really. And I think one of the biggest, like one of the coolest things about Sundog was our staff. And I cannot say enough, like there are so many places that are like, we can't open today because we don't have enough staff. We never had that problem. We've had the same crew for so long, and like Alden Mills, which you came to the Cultural Collective and saw him speak. Super big influential person in my life. Yes. He actually just came out with another book, Unstoppable Mindset. It's available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, and Swoon, he narrates the new one.
Oh.
Yeah, on Audible. And
I love it when they narrate themselves.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
And his voice is just so nice and amazing. And anyway.
Real quick, for those out there who don't know who Alden Mills is, he's a former Navy SEAL, and also Nicole's employer, as well as a motivational speaker. Yeah. And hearing him speak is absolutely amazing. He is somebody that you're like, holy cow, I get it.
Yeah.
And hearing how he is utilized his training in the most intense environment any human being can go through.
Yeah.
And has made that applicable for his entire life, and how he then presents himself as well as projects onto other people is just absolutely astounding.
Yeah, if you don't leave, like if you're in his presence and you don't leave there thinking that you can like take over a small country, like it's your fault. It's not his, it's your fault.
It's true.
Yeah, he invented the perfect push-up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but like one of his books, Unstoppable Teams, like it is important to know what your employees are going through and what you can do for them, not what they can do for you. So I also think that that's something that's super overlooked, even though people are like, oh, mental health, like we're all concerned. The fuck you are. Half the people aren't. Like we would always ask like our employees, like, are you good? Do you need anything from me? How are you feeling? And that really is from like understanding like Alden's book and all of this stuff.
Rockefeller Ways is another one. I had this whole conversation about it last week with another member of Dandelion, and we were talking about meetings. And the ones that could be honestly tossed away and the ones that are important that nobody does.
Yeah.
And one of those is the daily check-in. Like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
10 minutes. Check in with your team. Find out what's going on with them. What do they have on their plate today?
Right.
Did they have any questions regarding any of that stuff? Is there anything that they want to let you know?
Right.
That they might have a problem, or you should be on the lookout.
Right. And some people might see, like, it's different. There's a difference between, like, checking in on someone and micromanaging. Like, you don't, like, this is not a time to manage. This is a time to understand.
It's listening.
Yeah. So I really take everything that like I have learned from Alden, and I implicate it. It's not just like my employees. It's also helped me in like understand my relationships with some people too. So, it's really great. And myself, and his new book, Unstoppable Mindset, I'm only a couple like chapters in because I'm listening to it because I have to hear him say it to me. But like,
he might be a good looking man as well.
Yeah, maybe. It just really helps your mindset of like, I can do this shit. We haven't gotten into this yet, but like my film stuff.
Yes.
That man is the biggest cheerleader for me. Like if I am like down in the dumps and I'm like, I can't get this fucking financing. Like he's just like, hoo-yah, girl. Like, come on, you're a superstar. Yeah. I'm just like, I am a superstar. Wipe away the tears.
So actually, we do need to get into that. So you decide, Sundog, it's time to say farewell. And you were actually in a partnership with that one. You had 3 other partners.
Yeah, well, 2 at the time of the sale.
Yes.
John and Marianne Channel, God bless them. They are retired. So Sundog was supposed to be a hobby. It was not supposed to be a business. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, this is a business. So, I still have a full-time job, and John and Marianne are getting older and cuter and wiser.
Yes.
And
they wanted to enjoy a little bit more of life than being strapped to.
Right. Making, when we first started, we were making hard cider in 6-gallon buckets in a back room.
Yeah.
When we sold it, we had 3, 250-gallon tanks and all kinds of crazy shit. So it was just getting really hard. And, my job was getting more consuming. So it just made the most sense to sell it. And we had talked about it, and we were like, oh, and we kind of talked about it with other people, and we had a couple people interested. And then the Bacons, Mike and Cindy Bacon from the Maze Craze in New Springfield, Ohio, which is a really cool place too.
Yes, it is.
They caught wind that we were going to sell it, and we did a lot of business with them anyway. And they didn't even give us an option to shop it around. They were just like, this is it, we want it, here we go. And it couldn't have been better because they have a really similar vision to what we had. So it worked out really well. It's beautiful. They are growing it to the point where we wanted to get it, but we wouldn't have been able to get it there just because of our own personal
you didn't have time.
Yeah.
You didn't have time.
So that was December 31st of last year.
That's right.
I cried like a bitch. I cried.
And then she decided.
Well, I've been doing movies from before that.
That is true.
Yeah, but now I can get more into it.
Yes. So you, what other movies? So let's first talk about the first film that you released was Gemini, or that I know of,
I directed.
Yes. That's more of your indie film.
Yeah, it was Gemini.
That has, for everybody out there, it has received a lot of accolades.
It has. We got 3 more today.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to watch it, how can they watch it right now?
So they can't watch it right now yet. It will be released on Tubi and all of those film channels, direct to video, probably within the next month.
Okay.
So
when did you formulate your production company?
2013.
Shut up.
Yeah, 2013 is when I
When did you
started
create the website for it?
Strongo, 2013.
All right.
Yeah, it was 2013. And I was single at that point with 2 kids. I was living in Aurora, which is a suburb of Cleveland. And I really wanted to move forward with this, and it just got too hard because my kids were little and they were assholes. They're in their toddler years. I was just like, ugh. They're climbing on me. I'm trying to write scripts. It was not my jam. So I was like, you know what? We'll just put this
sidebar.
Yeah. And we'll get back into it. And then in 2020, during the pandemic, they were filming a movie in Columbiana, and I was asked to help out. And that was An Angelic Christmas for Sony. They owned at that time. I think they still do. Well, they don't. They sold it. A company called PureFlix, a video on demand. It's like Christian films, and which it has a huge following. It's crazy.
I'm not surprised. That's a pretty big base that they have, and very devoted.
Yeah,
very devoted,
incredibly devoted. You Christians, you. So after that, I was like, oh, my kids are grown ass kids now. They can like wipe their own asses, cook their own food. Yeah. They're not crawling on me. I can do this again. So after that, I took on a couple more projects, and then most recently, Gemini. It's based off of a book by an author in Struthers, Ohio, Jimmy Tafe. It's a sci-fi movie.
Now, did you or did he or did you both take his book and then create the script for the movie?
So I asked him to trust me because when I first read it, I was actually in Lake Tahoe, and I got done reading the book. And I called him, and I'll never forget it because I was like staring at a bear, and I was like, we're not going to be able to make this movie. And like I kept moving, and there was an electric fence, so the bear didn't get in. But he was like, "What do you mean?" And it was a super low budget, and I was like, half of this takes place on another planet. Like this, we don't have Guardians of the Galaxy or Star Wars money, man. So he was like, "No, I think we can." And I was like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you." And I stayed in Lake Tahoe and I came home, and he was like, well, how would you do it? And I was like, let me try. So
okay.
I'm dying.
You're okay.
So
put your arms up.
So he trusted me. We tried to cast a bunch of local people too, and it worked out really well. And we had the premiere. It was sold out. We did it at the Columbiana Theater, and it was great.
Red carpet and all.
Red carpet and all. We had a photographer. It was cool. We had people that were on a do not let in list. It was great. It was a good time. I'm showing cops pictures of people. I'm like, this motherfucker can't come in. So that was fun. And that's the third film grand premiere that we've done, that I've been part of at the Cultural Collective. So it's really nice to be able to just like premiere a movie there and just get some feedback, and it's really nice.
So you have another one coming up.
Yeah, this is my coup de grace, baby.
In which you wrote this one.
Completely. This is not based off of someone's book. This is based off of my brain and my inability to sleep.
Yes. Like I said.
Yeah.
If she has a moment, she feels it.
Yeah.
This is with good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could be doing heroin.
It's true. It could be way worse.
Definitely. This is the name of it is Iniquity. It's kind of like a female Punisher, if there's any comic book people out there. Kind of story. It's about revenge, and the funny thing is, I was talking to a producer about this, and they were like, "Oh, that's like Quentin Tarantino's movies are all about revenge." I was like, oh, funny story. Like, I was actually on a plane with him, and he helped me with some character development issues I was having with this script. So that was ironically strange and wonderful. So
amazing.
Working on funding right now. We're going to film in Cleveland and Aurora and the Youngstown area.
So for the business owners out there, because a lot of us, you still have to fundraise, right?
Yep.
You still have to look for ways of bringing in money for your business, no matter what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have your pet store, you have the product of dog treats to be able to generate revenue. You had your food source for the reg.
Right.
That to be able to sustain that way. But then you could also say that the treats and the pastries was another revenue stream to be able to come in to keep the doors open and keep the dream alive.
Yeah.
Sundog, you had first it was wine.
It was just wine.
And then you included like the cider portion of everything, and then we
found out that like our license allowed us to make hard cider, and someone showed me how to do it, and I was like, okay, this is gross and ghetto, but okay. And it was delicious.
It was delicious.
I still love it. It's good stuff.
Yes, it is.
And it's good for you. It helps your tummy.
Yes, it's good for you. However, quantities, because the ABV is a lot higher. But so, which is required by the state as well.
It is.
So, Anyway, so you have that happening there, in which you're trying to pull in revenue to keep the business alive and keep the dream going.
Right.
And now with your production company.
Yeah. So this film is actually kind of like my keeping the business alive. This film is going to be able to fund other films and other projects that I'm working on. It's going to help establish my production company as a production company that makes great features. So that's why this is like even more important to me, because it's really going to be one of those precursors to what my future is going to be in the film industry.
Is there a sales tax?
No, but we get a tax incentive. So thanks, state of Ohio. 30% if I qualify for it, which I do, but I got to fill out those forms. All the forms, man.
There's so many forms.
So many forms. But yeah, so this is me pivoting from the roles that I've done in films to head producing and having like us be a studio and take off with it. So
having a full circle moment.
Yeah.
Of where you were, where your kids were climbing up on you.
Yes.
To now finally being able to do that side of yourself, which I think that you're a prime example that no human being is linear.
That's true.
That there's so much that we have that we can be passionate about.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just one thing.
No, definitely not. I feel that like if you're passionate about one thing, you're just going to get burned out on that one thing. Like something that like we talk about in my company is like you need to be doing something for 10% of your time. That's not what you always do.
Yes.
And how you fill that 10% of time: crocheting, knitting, reading, writing, something that keeps like you.
That's
like,
right.
You kind of get lost into like your job sometimes. And I'm guilty. Like that's when I start spiraling out of control.
Yes.
Is when I feel myself getting just absolutely wrapped up in like my real job. And I'm like, I got to pump the brakes here. Yes. Like I got to find something to do with my hands.
It's true.
So that's when I start to get like, oh, I'm going to create clay fucking candle holders.
I'm a big advocate of journaling. I'm a big advocate of art therapy.
Yeah. Art therapy.
Claymation is one of those ways that you can do that. I draw.
You do draw.
I do a lot of different things. Because there are times when you're a creative human, and I would like to say that we are both creatives.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
That with that, you still need to break from, and I love writing. I absolutely love creating content. I love writing. I can't get my mind to shut off sometimes with the amount of things that keep filtering through my mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's not just my company. I think about everybody else's company of like, oh, what about this? What about this?
Yeah, come to Dandelion.
But I still need to break from that at times.
Right.
To give my mind peace.
Right.
And that's where if I'm concentrating and I'm drawing, then that's solely where my mind is honed in on. Versus if I go running, which is great for your health and wellness. I love running. I'm a big proponent of health and wellness. But
what are you thinking about when you're running?
But everything.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't stop. It doesn't matter if I'm listening to a song, if I'm listening to a book, a podcast, whatever. It just gives me ideas in other ways. That there are even times that I'll text myself.
Yeah.
So then I don't forget the idea, because that's the other thing. That's another problem is that if I wait too long, then I forget what I was about, like that great idea that I had.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I'll text myself.
Yeah.
So then I don't forget about it and go back to it. There is no escape in that moment.
Yeah, and I think it also like, in a time where like we're actually all comfortable. I think the majority of people are comfortable talking about like mental health. And I think that it is actually really, really, really good for mental health to have that that side thing. And even if you don't think that you're creative, like it doesn't matter. Just pretend. Just try it out. Give it a spin.
Exactly.
Like mental health is just so paramount right now.
It is.
And
if you're not, there are other ways. There's crossword puzzles for goodness sakes.
I love crossword puzzles.
So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to draw.
No.
You don't have to be, what's his name with the hair?
Bob Ross.
You don't have to be Bob Ross.
Yes.
You don't have to be creating clay, vases. You could.
Yeah.
just be doing a crosswords or a Sudoku.
Yeah.
Anything like that. It's
anything that brings you some kind of release and relief from
Yes.
something that you're doing all the time. So
100%.
Yeah, that's
where you're at right now.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
You're a busy, busy girl.
Yeah, I don't have any companies. Well, I have the film company. I have the film company, and then that weird clay thing that I started doing when I just couldn't sleep. So, and then I'm still doing stand up.
Yes.
I'm actually heading out to LA next week to do some stuff. So that'll be fun. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Keep him busy.
I guess, yeah. And then my kid, my senior, oh my God, I have a senior. How the hell did that happen? Yeah. He graduates on the 26th. Also, who graduates on a Sunday? Like, you know how weird that is? It's kind of weird.
That is weird.
Thanks, Columbiana High School.
That is weird.
I know. So, not that I had to go to church, but yeah, he's graduating. So now, like, all of my, like, I'm even more like, what can I be doing with my hands and my mind? Because I'm like, I have a senior and he's leaving me. Like, he's going to Kent State. Like, golden flashes.
Just letting you all know that's about 45 minutes away from where she's at. So she should be okay. But I hear what she's saying because it's not, when they leave the nest, you know they need to. Yeah. And you hope to God that you've done everything that you can to bring them to a level that they're not going to do the most stupidest thing because they're going to do stupid shit, but they're like the most stupid.
Well, the craziest thing is, like, my kids are not like I was when I was in high school, dude. I was a stoner jock. Like, I was an all-Ohio athlete, won states in track, went to college for sports.
They're like robotics.
Yeah, they're like smart ass kids. Like, I was smoking pot and like drinking beers, and like I offered my son to have people over after homecoming this past year, and I was expecting like I'd walk up because he has like an apartment on our top floor. I was expecting to like walk up and then be like, oh shit, like hiding stuff. Yeah. They were like saying they're playing Fortnite, like, and the girls were all sitting on one side of the room and all the boys were sitting on the other side of the room. I was like, you guys are boring as fuck. And I turned around and left. I was like, this is stupid. So I don't know what kind of shenanigans they're going to get into because, like, they don't do any of that stuff. So kind of lame, but I guess I'll be okay. He wanted to go to Santa Monica. I was like, leave, go, do not stay in Ohio like I did. But
he decided Kent.
Here we are, Kent State. I went to Kent State. So
Kent State's a good college.
It's beautiful now.
It's a good college.
Yeah, it is.
So you will then, at that point, start another company.
Maybe.
Or maybe just continuously keep producing new movies and directing.
Yeah.
If you can say one thing that was the hardest about each of those businesses that you created, and then also one thing that you've learned that you were able to then implement to the next, that would be awesome.
Ooh. Well, I will say, like, some of it contradicts each other. But so, number one, if you think you can do it alone, you can't.
True.
Now, that doesn't mean to go out and get a partner, but...
No. You could join a community group like Dandelion-Inc.
You could. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with like-minded individuals.
Yes.
And also, make a connection with someone that will also help on the. You can't, like, if you're running a store and you're the only one running it, that's never going to work. It's never going to happen. Like, you have to find a way to have an employee or have someone that's going to help you. Like, It's never going to work.
I agree.
So, like, when I had the pet hydrant, the dog store, I was solo. I didn't have partners. And I was like, man, this would be so much easier with partners. But I did have really great employees. And then with Sundog, I was like, there's no way I'm doing this without partners. And, thank God I had the partners that I had because they were great.
Yes.
I've seen other partnerships just absolutely crumble.
Any advice with that?
I think you just need to have realistic expectations. Like, you need to lay out what the expectations are before you sign anything, before you do anything. I mean, just having things laid out to what everyone expects of everybody else is the most important thing that you could possibly do.
And have it written out. Do not do a handshake. Do not do a handshake. Do not base it off of a conversation.
No.
Not a text message back and forth.
No.
You have that legally documented.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, old boy handshakes, like that shit just does not work. Like, you have to be held accountable, and you have to be able to hold other people accountable.
Yes.
So that would be my biggest thing. And don't go into business with like family, like. Not that I have. Okay, that's not fair because my brother and I did just buy a food truck.
Yes.
So
go on.
But it's different. My brother and I actually work together at the paint company too. So,
and he also helps out with the production company as well.
He does. Yeah, he's a script supervisor.
Yes.
Thanks, Bo. But that's different. Like that's a mobile, company. So, I just think that...
I think you also have a really great relationship. And I think, again, when you base it upon your partnership to begin with outside of family...
Right.
That sentence, be real.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very easy for me to know that, yeah. I just think that there are certain things that can happen in a business where you are not going to agree. Like, it's going to happen. There's no way you're going to agree on everything. And I think it just really muddies the water of... relationships because especially if you don't have expectations outlined, it can really, really, really just absolutely screw up people's lives.
Yes.
And relationships. So, and then I would really say make sure you have an attorney that can walk you through everything you need to know, the ins and outs of sales tax, excise tax. Like there's taxes you don't even know that exist. There truly are. Like we had to pay like excise taxes and sales tax and food tax. Like it's ridiculous. So you definitely need to be ready for that. And I'm not saying that like you need to hire someone like an attorney, but
as a retainer. Yeah,
like just make sure that you're like taking the proper steps. Like I don't want to discourage it. I think everyone should start a business. Like everyone should try it out, whatever it is.
I think a lot of times. When people start businesses, I don't care if it's service-based or product-based, they are trying to do it the least amount of money invested into it.
Absolutely.
And the most amount gained from it. And which, yes, that should be your ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. But there also needs to be an understanding of the things that you do need to invest in that is so important for your business actually to scale and grow.
Yeah.
And those things are, you need to have your butt covered.
Mm-hmm.
And your butt covered people are your insurance people, your CPAs,
right,
and your attorneys.
Yep.
That because if you're walking away with a nice sizable profit at the end of the year, your first year, which by the way isn't so amazing because I clearly also had to say by the way one more time, but what risk are you attaching that phenomenal profit to?
Right. And it's okay to start small.
It is okay. It is okay. I wish they were less expensive than what they are, but you could find resources out there. Look at other small businesses, single CPAs out there that aren't attached to a larger firm.
Yeah, absolutely. There's tons of them.
There are.
Yeah.
Like, help that business out, and they'll help you. I mean, definitely still do the protocol, check out the records and everything. Yeah. Vet everyone when it comes to that. Don't just go by, oh, my friend liked them.
Right.
Please vet them to see if they'll fit you. I think I interviewed about 6 different accountant CPAs to find out if I want to know if our personalities would work well together.
Yeah, that's very important too.
And then attorneys, same thing. Mm-hmm. Now, I did luck out because I do know a few attorneys.
Right.
So I did have help on that end pretty easy.
Same.
That like friends with for a long time beforehand.
Right.
And people who I knew would keep it real with me.
Mm-hmm.
Insurance, same thing. Like needed to have it, made sure. Mm-hmm. And I even be honest with them. Say, this is my revenue. This is where my revenue is generated from. Because what you do and how that's covered to protect your clients, if you're an online business, you better make sure that you have the coverage up to the amount of money of the revenue coming into your business. Because because God forbid you have any data breach, anything like that. You need to make sure that you are protected as a business. And that's for all the onlines out there. And it is a different insurance than if you were just brick and mortar.
Yeah, and it's paramountly important. Like, and I think a lot of online people don't take that into account the way that they should.
It's true. It's true. So those are your three the bases, of course. And Nicole is a Dandelion-Inc. member herself. So become a Dandelion-Inc. member, or find your own community where you feel that you can fit in and comfortable, be vulnerable, be real, ask for help, talk about all these things, because if you're with the right group of people, somebody's going to let you know about that tax that you might not even have thought about.
Right. And the other thing is, like, when you are talking to people that are kind of in the similar area that you are, it's okay to be vulnerable.
Oh,
it's okay to not know everything.
Yes.
Like,
that's the beauty of it.
I totally agree. I feel that, like, right now that there's pressure for, even women specifically to really project that, like, they know what they're doing and they've got their shit together, and it's okay to not have your shit together. Like, it's totally okay.
That is an issue women face across the board.
Oh, yeah.
Whether you're a mom, you need to project that you are the greatest mom that has all your shit together.
Right.
When it comes to motherhood, don't let them see you sweat. Right. And now the same thing in the business world. Because we're trying to make our mark. We're trying to obtain the equity that is out there that, quite honestly, we have deserved well before now.
Right.
But if you show that little crack, that I don't know, they're so afraid that it's going to be taken away.
Yeah.
Because they've shown their weakness.
Right.
But I mean, screw that. None of us are perfect. All of us need help. Women, the greatest thing about us is what we can do is lean in where we don't know.
Yeah.
Versus pretending like we know it all.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Like, I have, even with my stand-up, I try and be incredibly relatable. Like, I talk about being a shitty mom. I talk about being a shitty wife. Like,
that's right.
Everyone is going through something similar. Like, I guarantee it. I don't give a shit.
It's true.
Like, and, in the business world of it, like, it is okay. Like, if they're not going through it, then they've went through it.
Yes.
So I just think that it's really important to let your guard down. And I think that that's something that you've really built with Dandelion, is you have people that aren't afraid to say, like, I need help with this.
That's because I admit that I need help. And not
lead by example.
That's right. Set the tone. Because it even if you said your background's marketing, graphic design marketing. I do not have a background in graphic design. I'm a Canva user. And
sinner.
I know. But I do have a background in marketing and advertising and communications, all that other fun, politics.
Go on, tell us everything.
Whatever. But I don't know it all.
Yeah.
And the changing dynamic of those environments are constant, fluid, and more rapid than they ever have been before.
Absolutely.
So if I don't sit there and say that I'm not receptive of learning new things and growing, then I've lost all point of being good for anybody out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with, like, marketing, like, there might be something that's not working for you. And it might be working for someone else, but they may be able to tell you why it is working for them. Like, marketing, it just blows my mind. Like, I feel like there just needs to be so much more information on, like, marketing out there for especially, like, these women that are trying to do something like, like, I really do.
Yes.
And I know that, like, you help with that too. And I cannot emphasize enough, like, marketing. God.
I can't emphasize enough A/B testing.
Nice. There you go.
All right, Nicole, I absolutely love you. I'm sure you'll be back on again.
I love you.
And I cannot wait to see when this next movie comes out. Because this is the big one, y'all.
This is the big one. This is the big one.
Yes.
This is a multi-million-dollar budget.
This is the one that I'm going to beg her to go with her for the red carpet. I'll be like, listen, I'll be your handler. I'll be your PR rep.
Well, if I don't have any Navy SEALs laying around, which I think I really need to come out with a book. If you love Navy SEALs, that's the title of it.
There you go.
Yeah,
make it a movie too.
I was really excited if you were going to tell me that there was a book called "If You Love Navy SEALs."
Girl, just read the books. You'll enjoy it. You'll be like, it doesn't need to be titled that way. This is the best title. All right. See you soon.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for listening in to The Seed. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, go to Dandelion-Inc.com and click Let's Connect. And please be sure to subscribe to The Seeds podcast to hear more inspiring stories from other badass women that are all around us. Remember, behind every woman is a tribe of other successful women who have their back. To you all, thank you.